Good morning, my neighbours!
Ladies and gents, it's Saturday. I've got beer in my bladder and whiskey on my breath, but it's time for an alternative paper review. First up to the Daily Express this morning, King's fighting spirit. Well, that's good. I'm really happy for him that he's feeling better. You know, I'm feeling better than I was first thing this morning. Maybe I should get a front page. Bit of nice gushy coverage. Or, you know, maybe in the absence of decent press, you guys could share me around with your friends, like the cheap tart that I am. Next up, the Mail. Jeremy Hunt is warning us that every family in the UK will face a £2,100 tax hike as a result of Labour's spending plans. Dishonest, disingenuous, Punch and Judy pearl clutching. That's what this is. That's all it is. Like, the Tories are like, there's a £38 billion hole in Labour's spending plans. 38 billion. Wow. Yeah, you could buy a whole Serco app with that. But what they're doing is, quite predictably, they're taking Labour's policy plans, right? Like the abolition of VAT-free for private schools. They are looking at rail nationalisation. They're looking at the NHS spending commitments. They're taking the top end of all of those policies, adding them all together. Then they're taking the worst case scenarios for what state the economy might be in. But hang on a second. Like a minute ago, they were saying the economy was going gangbusters and back to full strength, and we're growing at twice the speed of America. Well, yes, but now that's inconvenient for them. So now they're talking about, oh, well, what if the pound was worth less? So it's a bit ridiculous using these scare tactics to criticise Labour when it's hot off the back of everyone else's criticism of you and Brexit as Project Fear, even though Project Fear in the context of Brexit has largely turned out to be Project Reality. It's also ridiculous because the Conservatives have their own significantly larger financial black hole in their budgets. You know, it's like, how are you going to pay for policy X, Sir Keir? Then Keir Starmer's like, well, I don't know. How are you going to pay for hospitals and nurses if you completely trash national insurance? Well, we're not talking about national insurance. We're talking about you. So, where are we? We've got the Tories with their spending commitments. We've got Labour with their spending commitments. Both of them are saying each other haven't costed things properly. I say whoever gets in power and whatever policies they're going to market with right now, they will, because of the national debt, end up raising your taxes. So to my mind, the only question remaining is which party is likely to hit which group of people with those tax rises. The Conservatives say, oh, 38 billion, if you divide that by the number of working families in the UK, it works out at £2,000 per working family. But nobody is suggesting that a family on an average income would be taxed more. You see, it's clever, it's pantomime. Like, the Tories probably know that Keir Starmer's Labour Party will saddle businesses and high earners and non-doms with this extra tax burden. But that's not something that they can market to their readers and have it really resonate with regular working people on PAYE, is it? So instead what they do is they take this black hole and they divide it down by the number of working families, and then they misrepresent it to you as though it's something that you might actually personally get hit with. Next up to the Sun, it's a strictly exclusive 3 stars force a BBC Geo probe. Don't even half care about that. Just no f***s. No f*** given. I'm in a f*** overdraft. That's how few f***s I give about that. Finally to The Guardian. Alcohol abuse costs are soaring to £27 billion a year. Wow. Jesus, you could buy a Serco app for... Oh, well, I already did that one, didn't I? This is a story that the impact of the UK's ongoing and growing addiction to alcohol continues to be felt at a much greater and greater extent across police, social care, the NHS, and the cost of it has now been estimated to have reached £27 billion a year. I'm sure that just a little of this could be attributed to our changing drinking habits throughout the pandemic and then into the cost of living crisis, where working and middle-class families have felt the anxiety, the stress, the pressure of money, being cooped up in the house more than we were. And we're just like, oh, God, the kids are driving me insane. The stress, the bills, it's been a long day. Can Can I just open up the whiskey? Aid, it's 10 a.m. What can we do to influence people and get them to stop hitting the bottle so often and live a healthier lifestyle? Well, I suppose the obvious answer would be to give them a bit of help. Give them more support with childcare, with their bills. But that would no doubt be identified by Tories as a financial black hole, and they would actually rather that you just crawled into one and died. And I have to say, guys, with alcohol consumption very much in the forefront of my mind, that latter option is more than a little tempting. Peace.
The world is done and everything's fucked. Everything's gone and I'm gonna get drunk. I'm so fucking depressed.